Hello everybody, my name is Rainer and welcome to my booktube channel, which is called Rainier Books. Today it is time, the first time of this year 2023, to give you a review in my beloved segment I've Read Something. So let's do this. So today, folks, I'm going to do a single review again. I've read something. I've read Michael Connelly's newest novel, Desert Star. Some crimes you can't forget. Detective Rene Ballard is given the chance of a lifetime. Revive the LAPD's cold case unit and find justice for the families of the forgotten. The only catch is they must first crack the unsolved murder of the sister of the city councilman who is sponsoring the department, or lose everything. Others you can't forgive. Harry Bosch is top of the list of investigators Ballard wants to recruit. The former homicide detective is a living legend, but for how long? Because Bosch has his own agenda. A crime that has haunted him for years. The murder of a whole family buried out in the desert, which he vowed to close. So, what would you do if you knew who did it? With the killer still out there and evidence elusive, Bosch is on a collision course with a choice he hoped never to make. Michael Connelly has published 37 novels in his career as a writer, 24 of them with the character of Harry Bosch. And the very first one was published 31 years ago in 1992. It was a Harry Bosch novel called The Black Echo that introduced the character of the Los Angeles police detective Harry Bosch. And it gave Michael Connelly already great success and an Edgar for the best first novel of the year. Since then, of course, as we have, even Harry has gotten a lot older, and he now is around 70 years old. He has retired from his work at the Los Angeles Police Department, but since investigating murder has become his life bread, his life feed more or less, he has never really stopped. Already in the last couple of novels, we've seen him working as a part-time officer for San Fernando, California, as a private detective, and in Desert Star, the newest novel, his old acquaintance Rene Ballard recruits him to a task force investigating so-called cold cases. A local politician has started the cold case unit, and he wants them to look for the killer of his sister, a case that, of course, that has never been solved and therefore is a cold case. And Bosch gets the promise if he joins the force, he can also look into the murder of the Gallagher family, a whole family of four, mother, father, and two children who were murdered and buried in the desert. Case, one of the unsolved cases of his career that still is haunting him. Where former novels, years ago, had solely a focus on Bosch, who was present in each and every chapter of the books, which gave them a very fast pace, Connelly has recently changed his mode of writing. He can sort of switch from chapter to chapter between Harry Bosch and Rene Ballard. Both have in common that they are very stubborn and that they seek justice for their victims. And Bosch's credo is, not for the first time we learn it here in this novel, everybody counts or nobody counts. In Death Star, we get again a lot of beautiful jazz music, which also is one of the great achievements of the Connelly novels. The soundtrack from novel 1 to novel 37 is just amazing. There's one complete list of songs on artists that are being played in the Bosch novels and also the other novels by Michael Connelly, and you find it on Michael Connelly's homepage. I'll put a link down below. This time we meet a great American jazz saxophone player, King Curtis, who lived only 37 years from 1934 to 1971, who was murdered actually at his front door when he got in an argument with a drug dealer. He didn't buy drugs, but he got in an argument with a drug dealer who was passing by his house and stabbed him to death in 1971. that was in New York. His killer got away with second-degree manslaughter and left the prison after only 5.5 years. And I wonder what Bosch is thinking about when he listens to King Curtis. And the cover version that Curtis is doing in this book is a wider shade of pale on the saxophone. There's another case which Harry wants to bring justice to the Gallagher family, and this novel turns out as another true page-turner, and Connelly shows once again that he is really the master of the procedural police or procedural detective novel. The journalist who started out in the early 1990s to follow his great idol Raymond Chandler has did it again, and I think he did it even better in this novel. It gets darker in the world of Harry Bosch, if that was even possible, but on the horizon we also follow his young daughter Madison, or Madeleine, or Maddie, who now has decided to become a policewoman to follow in the great footsteps of her father. And besides, Connelly has over the years and over the novels developed, I think, a lovely father and daughter relationship that he develops in his novels as well. And this is also being depicted in the great Amazon TV series Bosch that ran over 7 seasons and that now has found its spin-off called Bosch Legacy. Very successful TV series in which Michael Connelly is a producer and co-writer and has a lot of influence. He even has an influence on the cast of characters, on the cast of actors that are taking into the show. The actor who plays Bosch is, of course, the great Titus Welliver, and his daughter is being played by Madison Linz. If you haven't read a Connelly novel before, you can read this. You can read Desert Star as a great standalone novel, and you will like it. I'm very sure you will do that. But if you have time, and I hope that you have some time, and if you've never read a Connelly novel or never a Bosch novel, please start with the first one called The Black Echo from 1992 and read them all. You're gonna get addicted to this great series of crime writing. Because now, 31 years later, 80 million sold copies later, TV shows on Amazon with another Netflix show circling around his half-brother Mickey Haller, who Connelly has also written a couple of novels about. There's a movie by Clint Eastwood called Bloodwork with another character that Connelly has created, Terry McCaleb. So there's a lot to see and to learn and to read in the Connelly universe of novels, in the 37 novels. And I can really say that Michael Connelly has not only left a very strong footprint already now in American crime literature history, but also in crime literature in general in the world. And yes, this novel, this newest novel, Desert Star, for me, is a 5-star read in this genre. So enjoy it, read it, and I see you soon in another edition of I Read Something, but also other videos on the channel. Subscribe, stay tuned, and bye-bye.